Hello my dear coders. In today's video, we are going to discuss view inheritance using OWL framework. As you can see here, we have a Kanban view, and on the left side we have customer locations, and I added a new button, view sales order. So if I click on this one location, it will filter automatically what location I click. Same is true with other locations. And then if we go to the list view, we have three buttons here: view sales order, view invoices, view meetings. And lastly, other form view, I added a new button, go to website. So all of this inheritance has been done in OWL framework, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So going back into our project, let's first create a new folder here under components, and I will call it view inheritance. And inside this folder, I will create res partner list view.js. And we need to add Odoo module here. And then we will import registry from web core registry. And since we are going to inherit the list view, let's first import the list view here under web views, list view, and import the controller from web views, list controller. Then we need to create a new class, res partner list controller, extends, since we want to inherit the list controller. And then we will inherit this setup function, and we need to add a super method so that we will not override this list controller setup function. And then let's say we have a console log. This is res partner controller. Once we inherited the list controller, we export a constant variable res partner list view, and it will store an object. We will copy all the objects under this list view, and then we will replace the controller by our new controller. For you to better understand this, if we go under community folder, add-ons, and then let's go inside web, okay, inside static, and then source folder, and under views folder, you will see the different views here. We have calendar, form, graph, Kanban, list, and pivot views. So if we go inside list view, and let's open this list view because this is the one we inherited. As you can see, we have a controller here, and the controller is the list controller. So now since we inherited it, and we inherited the setup function, we override the controller, and we added this res partner list controller. Since we only extends list controller, we all have the functionalities on this controller, and we just added this console log. Okay, the next is we need to create a new view by calling registry.category. Under views, we need to add, let's call it res partner list view, and then copy this new variable and make sure it is added in our assets backend, since we can use globs here. So all the files, JS, XML, and SCSS inside this components folder will be automatically imported. So right now we just added a new category under views, which is res partner list view. Next thing we need to do, we need to inherit the partner list view and add this new view that we created. So let's go back to browser, and here we need to activate contact and make sure you activate debug mode. I already done that. Let's go into tree view, What I need here is the external ID so that I can inherit it. Let's go back to PyCharm, and under views, let's create a new file as partner.xml. So we need to add a new record, rest partner form view inherit, and the model will be ir.ui.view. Okay, we use XPath. We need to select this tree. Expression will be /3, and position will be attributes, and the attribute name will be JS class. So remember guys, if you want to inherit form view using all, you need to add JS class and then add the name of the newly created category here, which is REST partner list view. Okay, don't forget to add it in the manifest file. We use REST partner.xml. Let's restart and let's upgrade old tutorial, and let's activate first inspector tool, and let's go to contacts. If I will click the list view, our console log is working, which means we successfully inherited this list view. And everything works fine. I can open it and I can add some filter here. It's working fine. And the next thing we need to do is to add some buttons in our control panel. To better understand it on how to inherit it, let's go back into the list view. And as you can see, there is a button template here, which is web.listview.buttons. Let's see in the file, let's open listcontroller.xml. So this is the template name, web.listview.buttons. And then we have the different buttons here. We have the new, save, discard, and others. So let's create a new file here as partner listview.xml and create a new template, and we call it all.restPartnerListView.buttons. And since we want to inherit this web.listview.buttons, we need to add the inherit is equal to, let's copy, and then don't forget to add all is equal to 1. And inside this web list view.buttons, what are we going to inherit? We want to inherit this button, which is the export to XLX. This is the button. So I want to add before this button. So we need to use XPath, and the expression will be, I will select this T with T if contains is export enable. And the position will be before, and I can now add some button I want here. And then let's go back to our list view, and same thing, we need to add a button template, but instead of this view, we need to copy the one we just created, which is inherited from the original list view buttons. And let's see if it will work. Let's upgrade. Actually, don't need to upgrade it. Let's just refresh it. Okay, we have an error here. Web not loaded or inexistent because we did not add. We are inheriting web list view.buttons, which is under web add-ons. So of course, we need to add the web under our dependency. And let's refresh again. Okay, it's working fine. View sales orders. but there's no space, so we need to add some space here. Margin start to, and obviously I can now add different buttons here. Let's reload. You can also change the color and add a border. Okay, it's working fine. Now let's do some action here. So if I will click this, it will redirect me to view sales orders. So in this case, I need to add one module, sales. Let's go back here and under list view.js, I can create a new function here, open sales view. For now, let's add a console line. And in our XML, we need to add the on click is equal to open sales view. Okay, let's go back to contacts under list view and let's refresh before we click the button. As you can see, it's working fine. Now, in order to open sales order view, let's import use service from web core utils hooks, and then under setup we need to initialize this action and then call do action method, and the type will be ir.actions.act window. This is similar like we do in Python code, and the name will be customer sales. REST model is sale.order, and then the views, we need a list and a form view. And if I will click, now I'm directed to sales order view, and I have a tree and a form view. So for other buttons, you can actually do the same thing. Just change the name, REST model, and you will achieve the same thing. Now let's move on in our Kanban, and let's try to inherit this, add some buttons here, and then we add a sidebar here wherein we add all the customer locations. So let's go back to our project and let's create a new file. Let's name it REST Partner Kanban View. I can actually copy the same thing, and instead of list view, we will choose Kanban view. Let's just rename it. It's actually the same. If we go to Kanban folder, we have this Kanban view and we have this Kanban controller. So same thing on the controller. Let's replace it with Kanban. Here also we need to use Kanban. And then let's create a new XML file. Let's name it REST Partner Kanban View.xml. And the same thing, we need to copy and paste it in our Kanban view XML. And instead of list view, let's try to open Kanban controller. And if we open it, we have this web Kanban view buttons. So let's copy this and let's rename it to Kanban. And what we want to do here is to select this button. So we can select first this if can create. So instead of is export enable, let's copy this can create, and position will be after, then we will add the same thing. And of course, we need to inherit Kanban view. Let's check the external ID, and let's go to REST partner.xml, and let's inherit that Kanban view. So let's try. We have an error here. List view is not defined. So instead of list view, it should be Kanban view. Let's try again. And then instead of tree, we need to replace it with Kanban. And let's upgrade our module. Now let's check if it's working fine. Okay, as you can see, it's the same thing. Now let's try to add the sidebar. So first thing we need to do is let's import on will start from all. And here we need to initialize our ORM by using this hook, use service ORM. And on will start, let's call an ORM method. This that customer locations is equal to await this that ORM that read group, and then first will be the name of the model and a domain. We don't need a domain here, but the field we want to get is the state ID, and next will be grouped by state ID. Let's see if it will work. So let's console.log these customer locations. Let's refresh. Okay, it's working fine. I can see 4 records here. And now let's see how we will display it on the left side. Let's check the Kanban view controller. I already opened it. And inside here we have Kanban view and we have the layout. So inside layout we have the control panel here and we have the buttons here, and then this is the props renderer wherein it will display all the records as you can see here. So we need to select this in our XPath and we will add it before this props renderer. Let's open our Kanban view and let's create a new template and let's name it Res Partner Kanban View, and we will inherit Web Kanban View, and don't forget to add all here. And then we need to select this T component is equal to props renderer. So XPath and expression will be T that contains at T that contains a T component props renderer, and the position will be before. So let's try to add a div and let's add an h2 customer locations, and then let's go back to our JS, and inside this we need to add a template and add the newly created template we just created. Now let's go back and let's refresh. So the customer locations we added is already showing here, but you want to make it on the left side and this one will be on the right side. So in Kanban controller, under layout, let's add a class and let's replace this. So we can just copy this and let's add an XPath again here, and the expression will be the layout. Attribute will be class name, and let's paste, and at the end we will be adding deflex. Let's try. Now it's working fine. Let's add a new class and let's add custom class, and let's create a new SCSS file, res partner kanban view.scss. I don't want to add stretch and shrink, and Let's make it this 300 pixel. Let's try. Okay, nice. Now let's add the list of state. I will be using list group and T, and then let's loop to all the customer location, T as C, and we need to add a key, which will be the state ID. Let's add an A with class list group item. We need to display the state ID name, which is because here our console log we can see that we have the state ID and the first one is the ID and the next one will be the name. That's why I have 0 and 1 here. So let's try. Okay, it's working fine. Now I want to add a badge here if how many customer or how many states by adding a span and escape. See that state ID count. Let's have a class badge, bg primary, and text white. Okay, and then the next thing I want to have a domain here if I will click each state. So let's do that by adding a new method here. Select locations, and we have a parameter state, and then const ID is equal to state 0, and then the name will be state 1. And in order to add a domain, let's access env search model. That's set domain parts, and let's add an object state. This will be the name, and then we will add a domain here, state ID is equal to ID, and the label will be the name. Set domain parts. Okay, now let's copy this method, and in the XML file let's add t on click. We need to add this. We need to add a function here because we are going to pass a parameter which is the state. Okay, let's try. So if I will click California, it's automatically added in the domain, and the same thing on the other states. And lastly, let's inherit the form view. So let's try to open it. And here we need to add a new button. So the same thing we do, let's create a new file, res partner form view.js, and let's close all other files here, and let's copy this list view and paste it in our form view. Basically, we just rename this list into form and do the rest. And this one, I don't think we need this, so we can temporarily remove it. Okay, and then lastly, we don't need this. Then let's go in our REST partner view and let's inherit the form view. Let's rename all Kanban into form. And then we need to know the external ID. So let's open and edit view form and copy the external ID. Okay, and then let's go back and upgrade our module. Let's go to contacts, and if I open one, I should see this is REST Partner Form Controller, so we have successfully inherited it. Let's open form view, and let's see how we can inherit it. Okay, so this is the web form view, and here we have the new button which we can see here. So that's the target of our XPath. So let's create a new file, as partner form view.xml, and then let's define a new template, and let's name it owl.respondPartner form view, and we will inherit web.form view, this one, and don't forget to add owl. Then let's go back to form controller, and let's see what we can select using XPath. We can select this button with a class name of form button create. So XPath expression, a button that has class of form button create, and the position will be after. And let's add some button. Let's say go to website. Don't forget to add a template here. Let's copy the template name. Now let's try. Refresh the page. Okay, so you can see I have already the new button here. Go to website. So let's add a class btn primary. And going back to our form view.js, let's create a new method, open website, and with the parameter URL. And let's add an action, and the type will be ir.actions.act URL. The target will be self, and then the URL. Let's copy this method, and inside our form view XML file, let's add an on-click event here. This dot open website, and we are going to pass the URL. Let's say http google.com for now. Okay, let's try. Let's refresh. So if I will click this, it will redirect me to google.com. And now, instead of static URL, we can access directly an XML file the value in our field website by adding the model root.data.website. So let's try. Let's add the website ajscript.com and save, and let's click go to website, and as you can see, it will redirect into ajscript.com. Let's try to avoid that warning. And then let's check our JavaScript file. Now this one should be with quotation. So if I will click go to website, as you can see, it will not redirect to a new tab. Okay, that's it guys. That's the end of my tutorial. So I hope you learned how to inherit Kanban view, tree view, and lastly the form view. Thank you, and see you on my next tutorial.